This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the best way to make an amazing website. Over the past week, we've finally been getting more information on the upcoming 2021 IMACS. And just yesterday, we got a massive design leak that I never thought would happen in a million years, but I guess Apple is just going all out recently. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about when we should expect the new IMACS, what we should expect the redesign to look like, and of course, the expected specs and features, so let's get right into it. First off, I want to begin with the progression of leaks that are focused on the redesign, because as most of you know, it's literally been almost 10 years since the last design change, and people have been asking for Apple to update the design for years now, since it's starting to look pretty dated with those massive black bezels. But thankfully, I'm 100% sure that we will get a redesign this year based on leaks and rumors, so let's get into those. The very first rumors surrounding a redesigned iMac came way back in March of last year from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, claiming that a new iMac is coming as early as later in 2020. And then a month after that, the China Times claimed that a 23-inch iMac may be launching in the second half of 2020. And if you didn't already know, Apple currently offers 21.5 and 27-inch iMac models, so a 23-inch iMac points to a full redesign. Then, just a day after that last rumor, Mark Gurman added to it, saying that a 23-inch substantially redesigned iMac sounds about right, and it should be coming as soon as later that year. Then in June, Sonny Dickinson claimed that a new iMac was going to be launched at Apple's annual WWDC event with an iPad Pro design language, basically looking like Apple's Pro Display XDR, which makes a lot of sense. But shortly after that, Jon Prosser tweeted out that any possible hardware has been scrapped for WWDC, and he turned out to be right. At the event, no iMac was launched, but Ming-Chi Kuo did come out and say that a 24-inch iMac with a new design was gonna launch in the fourth quarter of 2020, which is slightly different from the 23-inch size rumors that we heard earlier. And then in July, Sonny Dickinson updated his rumors, saying that they expect there to be two sizes of the redesigned iMac, with both of them having much thinner bezels. But at the end of July, all hope was crushed for a redesigned iMac by McGuire Wood on Twitter, saying that the redesign is being saved for Apple's own silicon, so the design of the next iMac would be unchanged. And then the next day, Jon Prosser confirmed that a new iMac was coming in August without a redesign, and he even broke the news a few hours before the actual launch happened, and of course, there was no redesign. At that point, we started getting rumors of the first ARM-based iMac coming in the first quarter of 2021, which made more sense. And then in October, the China Times dropped a leak bomb, saying that we should be getting a new redesigned iMac in the first half of 2021. But the major piece of news is that it would come with an Apple-designed dedicated GPU, which is a huge deal, and I'll be talking about this in just a minute. But before we get into that, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. If you've been thinking about making your own website, now is the perfect time, and Squarespace is seriously the best way to go. You can build a great looking website like we did with literally no webmaking experience. It doesn't matter if you want a portfolio, a blog, e-commerce, or anything else, you just choose a template and customize blocks of text and images. It's incredibly simple, affordable, and ours has been running flawlessly for over 2 years, bringing in new clients thanks to its built-in SEO tools. Start your free 2-week trial with no credit card required by going to squarespace.com/maxtech, or use our custom link below when you're ready to launch to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. Then in November, we finally got some concepts created of the redesigned iMac, basically looking like a large iPad on a stand, which honestly looks really nice and clean. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but I made a video back in September claiming that I figured out the design of the next iMac, basically saying that it would look just like the Pro Display XDR from Apple, except for a few minor details. I said that the back would be completely flat and with flat sides that won't be as thick as the ones on the Pro Display. because the back is not going to have the same lattice pattern cutouts as the Pro Display. The main reason I believe it's going to be thinner is because the internals of the iMac will be greatly reduced in size due to the switch to Apple Silicon, which means that everything from the logic board and the power supply to the chip, heatsink, and fan would be made smaller, including the removal of user replaceable RAM. So due to all of that, Apple can make it nice and thin. And I also said that the stand would look similar to the one on the Pro Display XDR, being more squared off, but without being easily removable. As for the front, I said it would look just like the Pro Display XDR, but with a smaller chin and a smaller Apple logo. Now I really hope that I'm gonna be right about that, and it's actually looking good for me, because in January, Mark Gurman said that the new iMac will have a completely flat back with display bezels that look just like the Pro Display XDR. The only difference is that he believes the chin area is gonna be removed. So I might actually be wrong in thinking that Apple is gonna keep it around, but make it much slimmer. And now let's get into the absolute most recent leaks that we've been seeing. Starting with Mark Gurman saying that the redesigned iMacs won't actually launch until the end of this year, which is a bit disappointing since previous rumors pointed to the first half of 2021. And then the day after Mark's report, John Prosser also tweeted that we should not be seeing the iMac coming in March, and just yesterday, John dropped a massive leak. He claims that the 2021 iMac will come in 5 colors, basically the same exact ones from the iPad Air 4, which is absolutely mind-blowing because the last time Apple did that, it was with the original iMac. This was totally unexpected, but thankfully the renders made by concept creator look exactly what I claimed the back of the next iMac would look like, being incredibly clean. And the stand is also spot on with my expectations, coming out as a flat square instead of the current wedge-shaped stand. The only difference is that his renders of the front do not have a chin, so I'm probably wrong about that. And I also think that there's a chance that the display will have slightly rounded corners instead of having square corners. So there you guys go, that's most likely what the next iMac is gonna look like. But now I want to get into the features and specs that we should expect. Back in July, 9to5Mac discovered code in macOS Big Sur beta, which pointed to the possibility of Face ID coming to the Mac, which is a huge deal. This would actually be perfect for the iMac because the only other option is Touch ID, and putting it into the keyboard doesn't make any sense at all because it would make it less secure by sending the signal from the keyboard to the iMac, so I don't see a Touch ID keyboard coming basically ever. Instead, Face ID is the best option, and thankfully Mark Gurman from Bloomberg said that Apple is in fact working on that feature, but it unfortunately won't be coming in this year's redesign. That's definitely a bit sad since it's the perfect time to add Face ID right now. But I still believe that Apple is going to be upgrading the webcam to have 1080p video quality this year. And now I want to get into the most important stuff, and that is the specs. I believe that the 2021 iMacs will most likely be getting the M1X chip, which is going to be coming also to the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros sometime this summer, packing 12 processing cores and 16 graphics cores. However, I do think there's a chance that they could have an upgrade option of something like an M1Z chip with a 16-core CPU instead of 12, and potentially a 20-core integrated GPU. Now that is just pure speculation on my part, because I believe that the highest end iMac should be more powerful than the 16-inch MacBook Pro to help it seem like a better deal. And if you're wondering why anyone would pay for the larger 30 to 32-inch iMac, I believe that this model will be coming with a dedicated Apple GPU, just like the rumors from the China Times were pointing to back in October. And I personally think that the dedicated GPU option will only be available on the larger iMac to help Apple upsell the more expensive model. This is basically going to be a huge deal because the main worry about Apple Silicon is that the integrated graphics isn't powerful enough, and a dedicated custom Apple GPU would fix that, especially since it'll work alongside the integrated graphics cores. iMacs. Now, apart from that, I expect the internals of the iMac to be more spread out with a thinner one fan and heatsink design, and I think that the user replaceable RAM is going to be going away to help keep the iMac thin. And despite being thin, I expect it to still remain super cool and quiet because of how efficient Apple Silicon chips are, like the example we showed of the power draw from Intel Macs compared to Apple M1 Macs. I also expect these iMacs to finally get displays with HDR support, most likely by using the same technology as the Pro Display XDR, but probably not as high-end since that display is super expensive. And in terms of the price tag, I expect Apple to more or less keep the base prices the same as they currently are, since they're saving so much money by using their own custom Apple Silicon. And they're also going to be relying on RAM, storage, and potential graphics option upgrades to make extra profits. And I think that anyone wanting to buy an iMac should absolutely wait for these redesigned models to launch because the performance is going to be absolutely next level, destroying every single Mac out there, even some of the super expensive Mac Pro models in real-world tasks. So there you guys go. Hopefully you enjoyed this video on the 2021 iMac redesign. And if you disagree with any of my thoughts or speculations, go ahead and comment your thoughts down below and click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.